What is good, YouTube, and welcome back to a brand new video. The word on the street is that the Warriors may need help this season. Although Stephen Curry's having a great season, the rest of the roster isn't performing very well around him. So there's a lot of questions about whether the Warriors should go ahead and trade Clay or Draymond to maximize Curry's value to get him one more championship before he's all said and done, because they're not, keeping up with him or whatever. Well, we're going to answer all those questions in today's video. We're going to be doing a Golden State Warriors rebuild and trying to find a way to turn this season around, and most importantly, get Stephen Curry one more championship before he hangs it up. Before we get into today's video, make sure you guys drop a like in this one, and of course, subscribe if you are new to this channel. As always, greatly appreciated. If you are new, my name is Crushables. I'm a rebuilder here on 2K, as you guys can see. And the way I like to do rebuilds is I try to keep things as realistic as possible. I do go off the rails at times, like it's not always perfect, but I do try my best for the most part. So if you enjoy realism, I'm your guy. Other than that, as I told you guys, the Golden State Warriors, man, they're 9-11. Things have not looked good for them. As a Blazers fan, I'm kind of happy that things aren't clicking for them because we actually have their pick coming into this draft. It's like top 4 protected. So, I mean, if they find a way to get in the lottery, then I'm not complaining as a Blazers fan. But regardless, I do want to see Stephen Curry obviously compete in the playoffs. Like, there's no doubt about that. The man's 35 is still very, very good. But the rest of the roster just kind of not performing up to par alongside him. So the question is, will this team even entertain the idea of splitting Clay, Steph, and Draymond up? To be honest with you, I don't think they will. I don't think there's a chance that they're going to do that. But there is some other things they could potentially do. They do have an expiring Chris Paul if they wanted to go that route. I don't know if there's like contending teams lining up for Chris Paul, but maybe there would be a team out there. And I'm not saying he's the problem by any means, but this team needs to find a way to make upgrades, obviously. So we're going to try to find a way to do that. Also, there is just a possibility this team starts to click. Like, there's no doubt that that could just happen. But for fun and for entertainment purposes, we're going to probably make a couple trades at the trade deadline to maximize Curry's value. So I will see you guys probably first step in this video at the trade deadline. I really can't get behind trading Clay or Steph. Or not Clay or Steph. Steph's not getting traded, but I can't really get behind trading Clay or Draymond. I just don't see it happening, man. I don't see a world where the Warriors are going to do that. I could be wrong. I never thought Chris Paul would be on the Warriors, but we'll see what happens. I'll see you guys at the trade deadline. Today's video is brought to you by PrizePicks. PrizePicks is a player props app that's available on mobile or desktop. This is the interface when you log into PrizePicks. They got all kinds of sports outside of just NBA. They got NFL, they got college basketball, and they got like CS2, esports, tennis. They got all kinds of stuff. But PrizePicks is going very well for me. How it works is you choose between 2 to 6 players, 2 players being 3 times their entry, all the way up to 6 players being 25 times their entry. But guys, I've been on a roll on PrizePicks, man. I've been on an absolute tear. Today we hit this one. Unfortunately, Mahomes couldn't come through. That was really close. But we also had this one for 50. We had a little bit of a profit at 750. And then I'm trying to find this one was kind of tough too. Brandon Ayuk. If only I had Debo or Kittle here, that would have worked too. Got that one. And then this is the big one. If I can find it, it's somewhere here. Boom. Just like that, PrizePicks has been an absolute fun. If you want to sign up for PrizePicks, link is down in the description below. Use code Crushables to match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to $100. I've been using PrizePicks 2021 since 2021. I swear by it. So go sign up for PrizePicks for an extra sweat while you watch sports. And guys, the way I'm doing this on PrizePicks is DGF's correlation and optimizer tool, man. If you've been using this tool since August 18th, it is up 600 units right now. Basically, they give you the slip. You simply put it in. So usually there's like a lot of NFL right now. Obviously, the week is coming to an end. So there's only one NFL game. But basically, you put this in, and if it, it may work, it may not. Hitting 6 for 6s isn't easy, obviously, but this is very profitable slip long term. DGF has been great to me so far. They also have an optimizer tool that basically just compares discrepancies across the sports books, and sometimes you get it's like this sports book has it at 32.5. That means take the over at 31 because PrizePicks is giving you a discount. So if you want to look into DGF, I have their YouTube channel down in the description below. I also have my sign up link down in the description below if you want to check it out. But thank you to DGF and PrizePicks for sponsoring today's video. So coming up with realistic trades at the trade deadline isn't the easiest thing in the world. Now, this team has turned it around at 29-21, but let's pretend that things aren't clicking still. What would the Warriors do? Where A game's over 500, so obviously I could just spend the rest of the season and just live with the results, but that's no fun. I want to try to do something here. So the first idea I kind of have coming to mind, and it may not be the best idea in the world, but it's to upgrade the center position. And to look at, centers that could become available potentially at who you could get. So obviously Embiid's not going to be available. Jokic, those guys are not going to be available. So just get past them. Once we get to the point where I think they may be available, I don't know if the Cavs might move on from Jarrett Allen. It doesn't seem like they would. They are struggling a little bit to start the season, but that's probably not going to happen. Gobert, Miles Turner, not going to happen, obviously. Broke, not going to happen. Claxton. I mean, it kind of depends how good and bad the Nets are at the trade deadline. I'm not really sure they would entertain. He's still only 24 years old. I feel like they would rather re-sign him than just trade him away. But my first, Vucevic is an option, but the defense can be suspect, so I'm not really sure about that one. I think this one is the best option. Clint Capella could be an option, I think, for the Warriors at the deadline if they wanted to upgrade their center position. Not that Looney is terrible by any means, but maybe even like Wendell Carter if he was available. But I'm going to try for Capella to start this. He's only 2-star trade value. Now, the problem is, how are we going to match his salary? He's making $20 million right now. It would be probably like, you'd probably have to, or maybe, just maybe, we could find a way to have Chris Paul in this trade. Now, the Hawks would be getting, I'm not really sure why the Hawks want Chris Paul. See, trying to cook something up here isn't the easiest thing in the world, but maybe we can get away with this without trading. So we'd have to include Gary Payton's $8 million. And then you're talking about Kuminga's $6 million. Looney, I can't get to it. So we're either basically going to have to trade Wiggins here, or we're going to have to trade Chris Paul. And I'm not really sure. Okay, if we trade Wiggins, then obviously we could have Kuminga play a huge role, and he does develop in 2K. So it's not a terrible option, maybe. We could maybe go that route. It's not probably the best decision, but it's an idea. Clay is obviously, as I said, I'm not trading him. If I did try to cook up a Capella for Chris Paul trade, they could just take him straight up. Again, it doesn't make a lot of sense because I just don't feel like Chris Paul on the Hawks would just make too much sense. But if Chris Paul was theoretically traded here, not that he's the problem in Golden State by any means, and maybe we could find a way to squeeze another piece out of them. Maybe they'd be open to giving us like Bogdan or something off the bench. I don't know. I'm just trying to think of something because Chris Paul's still making like $30 million while the Hawks, obviously, there's like $10 million we can maybe fit in here. So maybe, no, not a Kongwu. That's not going to happen. Bogdan is going to make too much money, obviously, but it wouldn't be bad to get him as a throw-in off the bench at all. So let's say we did that. And then let's say we threw Gary Payton in here. Okay, so obviously, as I said, Chris Paul to the Hawks makes no sense. So I want to see if I can add a third team in here. Executing 3-team trades isn't the easiest thing in the world, but I'm going to give it a shot here. Wow, I actually got that to work. I don't know how I got that to work, but okay, we did a 3-team trade. So Chris Paul and Gary Payton are heading to the Timberwolves. Mike Conley's headed to the Hawks, and we get Capella and Bogdan Bogdanovic. Wow. I was just trying to cook something up, and I did a 3-team trade somehow. Usually those are really tough to do, but we ended up doing it, which is awesome. So now we have Steph, Clay, Wiggins, Kuminga, and Capella. So that moves Draymond Green to the bench, which is interesting. But we get out of here. Unfortunately, we trade Chris Paul in the process, but we get Bogdan off the bench as well. That improves our bench like tenfold like crazy. So I really like that trade for us. So Capella, huge upgrade at the 5. Dario Saric off the bench, Looney off the bench. I really love that trade for us. Now, we're obviously going to have to keep Draymond Green in the starting lineup probably. The spacing isn't great between these two, but it's fine. We'll find a way to make it work. So that is what we're rocking with now. So 9-man rotation. Steph, Clay, Wiggins, Draymond Green, Capella, Kuminga, Looney, and Bogdan and Dario Saric. Do I want to make another trade? Do I want to force something else? I don't think so. I actually like that trade a lot where we get rid of Chris Paul. Again, he wasn't the problem by any means. We sent him to Minnesota, which, by the way, I feel like Minnesota, the spot they're in, I don't think they'd hate the idea of getting Chris Paul in the Timberwolves. It may ruin chemistry because there's a possibility Chris Paul's attitude could ruin things, what they got going there. And maybe Mike Conley's, they're really confident with him. I'm not sure. Okay, I just realized I kind of royally screwed the Hawks in that trade. I don't know why they just trade Capella and Bogdan to just simply get Mike Conley. Let's say we threw a lottery protected pick in there as well. I think that would just kind of justify it a little bit more for them. So Mike Conley and a first-round pick for Capella and Bogdan. So you get a first-round pick. Get off, Capella and Bogdan's salary. I don't know if the Hawks would be looking dumb salary at the deadline. It kind of depends where they're at. Mike Conley's an expiring contract. I don't know if they'd value that. That is kind of the angle we went, but I think a first-round pick could be in order for the Hawks to move both those guys. So I probably should have put that in from the get-go, but I am changing that because as I was talking myself to the trade, I was like, okay, the Hawks just did that kind of for no reason. So, yeah, I feel better about the Hawks at least getting a first in that trade. So, we're gonna leave it at that, but I'm gonna go ahead some of the rest of the season with this the way it is. We got Capella and Bogdan now. I don't know if that's gonna change our luck in the playoffs, but hopefully it does. We got Steph a little bit more help at the deadline. Let's see if it pays off. Nikola Jokic wins MVP. Victor Wembanyama wins Rookie of the Year. Cole Anthony wins 6th Man. Miles Turner Defensive Player, and Alperen Sengun is your most improved. And Stephen Curry is your clutch player of the year at 28 points per game. Almost 50, 40, 90. No surprise there, obviously. So the rest of the season, it went decent. We end up being the 3rd seed in the Western Conference. And funny enough, we get to play the Timberwolves when we obviously traded Chris Paul at the deadline. So we had 28 points from Steph, 15 from Clay, 14 from Wiggins, 12 from Kuminga, 12 from Bogdan, and then 10 and 10 from Capella with 2 blocks, 8.5 from Sarge, 7 and 8 from Kevon Looney. So I also went ahead and extended Clay at the trade deadline, or at the extension deadline. He wasn't even asking for that much. He only asked for $12 million, which actually isn't bad. If Clay was willing to sign something like that, if I'm the Warriors, I'm open to that, obviously. Obviously, you guys paid him when he got really hurt. Even when he got hurt, they still paid him. So I wonder if he'd return the favor and maybe take like a cheap pay cut. I'm not sure if he would or not. I guess we'll see. But let's go ahead and see if we can square off against the Timberwolves, which obviously we gave them Chris Paul, which they obviously have Chris Paul, Edwards, McDaniels, Cat, and Gobert. Honestly, I kind of like the idea of the Wolves getting Chris Paul at the deadline if they can. If the Warriors make him available, I don't know if they will or not. I'm not really sure what they plan on doing. But let's go ahead, somebody come around against them, and we are going to beat them. And just kidding, we're going to a Game 7. So all the movement that we did could be all for naught if we find a way to lose this series. So Game 7 in Golden State. Hopefully we can take them out here, and we can maybe do just that. It's going to be a close one, and it looks like we got them. So we are going to round 2. 99 to 117, 48 and 8 from Steph, which is great. And now we got the Utah Jazz, who actually beat the Lakers. So we don't have to deal with the Lakers. Instead, we get the Utah Jazz. If we can't beat the Jazz, I'm going to be a little disappointed, although I have no clue how they took out the Lakers, but we'll take it. But maybe they take us out. Somebody current round, and no chance we beat them in 4. But now we get Kevin Durant and the Phoenix Suns. So we're going to have Devin Booker, Beal, Okogie, Durant, and Nurkic, Eric Gordon, Grayson Allen, and Keita Bates-Diop. Isn't it crazy how I believe Bradley Beal, Booker, and Durant have not played a game together just this season just yet? Absolutely wild. But can we get to the NBA Finals? Somebody current round, and we are up 3-1 in them, and do not blow 3-0. Okay, we beat them at 6. It was a 3-1 lead, not a 3-0 lead. But 37 points per game from Steph in the conference finals. Jason Tatum, also conference finals MVP. Now, we get the rematch of the Celtics and the Warriors. Now, can we come out here and win this championship is a question. Game 1 is going to go to Boston. Is Boston going to get their revenge this time around? We're down 2-0. We're going to have to even this series up if we want a chance. And so far, it's not looking good for us. So, we get to the NBA Finals, but unfortunately for us, we are going to lose 3 straight. So, I'm going to an 8-man rotation. We'll see if that changes anything for us. One thing we will get in the offseason is Kuminga's development. He goes up like crazy as you know, if you play 2K. Kuminga develops really nicely. But we are going to get swept by the Celtics, so that is very unfortunate. We are going to lose 129 to 108, 26 and 22 from Clay, but not enough. Now, the biggest thing I think we need now is another scorer. Clay just maybe can't be that for us anymore. We extended him. Draft lottery time. Let's go ahead and see what's available or who wins the lottery here. So Bulls going to get number 1, which would actually be exciting. If I was a Bulls fan, I'd be hella happy about that because they need a reset. But we're going to go ahead and keep the coaching staff the same. And then we're going to figure out how can we get another scorer alongside Steph because Clay isn't it anymore. Wiggins, I might look to move him. I don't know. We just need another guy that can take pressure off of Steph and not have to be the guy like all the time. So 20 point per game score is kind of what I'm looking for. Where do we get that? That's a great question. We're going to look around and see where that could become available. Our draft pick, of course, is going to head to the Blazers, or at least it should. And no first round pick. So what are we going to do? We have Podziemski, we have Moses Moody, we have Kuminga, and we have Wiggins salary. So we are going to have to figure out how do we want to move forward. Clay is here to stay. Capella is here to stay. Draymond's here to stay. Wiggins is the guy I'm kind of looking at. He's got $26 million. I think there'd be a bunch of teams that would like his services, especially with the way he's played for the Warriors in the past. So we're going to see. We're going to see what maybe I could get for Wiggins. All right, boys. I looked around at every team. Unfortunately, this trade just does not exist. I don't see a way where we're getting I think it's going to have to be Kuminga. I think Kuminga could become that for us. So, yeah, Wiggins for a scorer is not going to happen. I just don't see a world where it makes sense for any. I mean, yeah, like there's just nobody that's going to give up a score for Wiggins right now. That makes sense in my head. So we're not doing that. Instead, we're just going to have to hope that Kuminga becomes that guy for us. So looking at free agents, let's go ahead and see. We got LeBron James as free agent. Obviously, we're not going to be able to sign him. We do have some money to sign a good bench player, it looks like at the very least. So we have Stephen Curry, of course. We have Clay, Bogdan, who he's gotten that trade. Podziemski as well. We have Moses Moody, Wiggins. We have Draymond Kuminga. We have Looney and Capella. So we don't really need to do too much if we don't want to. But I'm probably going to. So I guess the biggest thing we could maybe use is another backup point guard. Conley's here. I think it makes a lot of sense to bring in a guy like Monte Morris. You can never have enough guys that can pass the ball. So we're going to bring in Monte Morris, I should say, not bring him back. So yeah, not a whole lot of movement for us this offseason. We're going to have to just look at player progression and see what happens. So we have obviously Steph going up. Clay is down. Kuminga is up to a 79. Monte Morris, Bogdan, Moses Moody is up. And then Podziemski is up. So we're going to just have to go into this season, and we'll see if anything kind of develops for us. We do have some young pieces that maybe we could throw in some trades, and maybe there's a move at the deadline that could be had if there's a team like selling and we have young pieces that maybe a team would want. So we'll probably look at that angle at the deadline if that's an opportunity that we can take advantage of. So Power King's going to still land us at 8th, so we're still a good team. Perimeter Centric is still going to be our proficiency. They actually want to bring Kuminga off the bench. Monte Morris is going to be the 6th man. It'll be Looney and Bogdan. I'm going to go 9-man rotation now. So 9-man rotation. And I'm kind of surprised they want to bring Kuminga off the bench. I'm sure that's not going to stay that way. Kuminga, his shot tendency is a 74. I'm going to boost it up. I mean, if there's going to be anybody that can become that for us, it's definitely going to be not Andrew Wiggins. Kuminga. I'm going to boost Wiggins' shot tendency up maybe just a little bit as well. But Kuminga, you'd have to become the guy if we want any chance of that happening. So I will maybe see you guys at the deadline with another big move. But if not, I'll see you at the end of year 2. 29 and 22 at the trade deadline, and I'm just thinking we could just roll with the squad we have right now currently and just live with the results as we get, closer to the deadline. But I'm also thinking we take advantage of the roster we have right now and we go for it again with another trade. Now, I will be honest, the trade I'm looking at doing does not feel great, and it doesn't, to me, feel like something that would ever happen. But again, never thought Chris Paul would be on the Warriors either, so I'm looking at Zach LaVine here, man. It's not great. I could get DeMar DeRozan as well, but the problem with getting DeMar DeRozan, the spacing would be even worse than it already is with, obviously, Capella and Draymond. If we bring DeRozan in here, the spacing is just going to be absolutely atrocious. So I'm looking at LaVine. I don't know if I could even get him, but I was really hoping Paul George would be on the Clippers and it'd be bad, but unfortunately, Paul George went to the Thunder because Paul George would have been my dream scenario, but he's not there anymore. Jimmy would be cool as well, but he's untouchable. And yeah, Markkanen, interesting idea as well. We could maybe go for that. And then I guess like Julius Randle, but they're 33 and 18 anyway. So we are going to go ahead and talk to the Bulls about LaVine. I don't love it, but if we're going to get a guy that can maybe take some pressure off I don't even know if we can match salary. He's averaging 19 points per game this season. So we're going to have to include Wiggins' salary in here, obviously. That's going to need $10 more million. Bogdan might have to be in this trade, which would suck. But if we're going to make something happen, Kuminga could be in here. Clay could be in here. Looney could also be in here. But I think I'm going to throw Bogdan in here. Now we're going to have to include one more player on their side. Say they give me Torrey Craig. I'll give you a 2025 first and a 2028 first, maybe. And then I'll give you Moses Moody, I guess, as well. We get LaVine here. We're going for it in this scenario. So Wiggins, Bogdan, 2 firsts, and Moses Moody for Zach LaVine. I don't know if I love this, but if we're trying to maximize our window right now, I think LaVine would be the way to do it out of all the options available right now. Again, to me, I don't ever see LaVine ever being on the Warriors one day, but didn't think Chris Paul would be there either. So I'm going to go ahead, pull the trigger. Some people may hate this, but I'm doing it. LaVine, welcome to the Warriors, my friend. You're going to go to small forward as well. So defense on this team may be suspect, but you know what? We're going to roll with it, and we're going to live with it. So now we have Steph, Clay, LaVine. This is our way of going for it with Zach LaVine coming to the Warriors with Draymond, Capella, Kuminga, Monte Morris, Looney, and Podziemski will step up in the rotation now. So we'll see how the rest of the season goes, hoping LaVine will be our saving grace here to take some pressure off of Steph. I'll even boost his shot tendency up just maybe a little bit more. I'll see you guys at the end of year number 2. Tatum wins MVP. Alex Sarr is your Rookie of the Year. Also 6th man on top of that. 80 Defensive Player. Ivy Most Improved. And Steph is your Clutch Player once again, which is great. We end up as the 2nd seed in the West. Steph makes an All-NBA 3rd team. But 2nd seed in the West, so we'll go ahead and take that. And here are your results. So I think we got a guy that took some pressure off Steph, which is what we wanted in Zach LaVine. 17 from Clay, 14 from Kuminga, and 9 from Capella. So I'm pretty happy with what we've accomplished so far, but obviously the main thing is we're trying to get a championship for Steph. We are playing the Mavericks. We have Lively, Williams, Tim Hardaway, Kyrie, and Luka. So someone in current round against the Mavericks, and we are going to beat them in 5. Great start. Now we get the Grizzlies, who have John Morant, Baines, Aaron Williams. They're starting Eisen, Almas. I don't know how to say that last name. I'm not going to pretend to. Marcus Smart off the bench, Jaren Jackson. Obviously, the Grizzlies and the Warriors go way back in a rivalry, but Dylan Brooks isn't here anymore, so I wonder how much that still stands. But hopefully get back to the conference finals, somebody current round, and we are going to beat them maybe in 6. No, going to a game 7. All right, game 7 in Golden State and San Francisco, I should say. Let's go ahead and see if we can beat them. We had the lead there for a second, and I thought we were going to run away with it, but it's looking like we may fall short unless we come back in this game, which is possible. We tie it up. We take the lead. We tie it up. Can we go ahead and run with this lead now? We have it. We're not out of the woods just yet. 3-point lead. This is going to be very, very close, but if we can win this one, we're going to the conference finals once again. 1-point game, slowing this bad boy down, and we need a score. We need a score. This is making me nervous. No one had scored in like forever. Oh my goodness. Overtime? Yes. Okay. We do not go to overtime. We beat them. That was very, very problematic. But we beat them, and we're going to the conference finals. Now, unfortunately, we get either the Thunder or the Timberwolves. I'd rather play the Timberwolves since we were able to beat them last year, but if we play the Thunder, I don't love my chances. So here goes nothing. Get the Thunder. Of course we get the Thunder. Okay. Oklahoma City. Hate playing them, but it is what it is. See what happens. And we're going to be in a game 7 with them as well. Okay. Game 7. All respect in the world to the Thunder. We're going to 8-man rotation this. Game 7 in San Francisco. Do not get blown out. That's all I'm asking for. Give me a competitive game, and we are going to get blown out. Wow. Love it. Okay. So the Thunder, man. The Thunder. They're just so ironically tough to beat in 2K. They're just hard, man. And we lose 141 to 91. So we almost got back to the NBA Finals, but the Knicks are going to beat them. Wow, Julius Randle Finals MVP. They were selling at the deadline. They wanted to move at, they wanted to trade pieces at the deadline. Let's make sure I didn't think anybody retired that I saw. So we're going one more year on this rebuild. Bulls win number 1. They've moved Levine, obviously. Steve Kerr still the coach. We're going to go ahead. All right, can we get Greg Popovich as an assistant? Give me Mike Brown back as an assistant. Yeah, let's do that. Mike Brown is back as the assistant coach in Golden State. Could not have gone any better there. And then we're going to get Randolph Brewer and call it good. Okay. I did extend Looney and Clay at the extension deadline, so we shouldn't have to worry about re-signing Kevon Looney. Player options, I'll accept Santos, and then qualifying offers Kuminga. He's going to have to get a big payday, probably, depending on how much he's asking for. Capella, I'm going to re-sign him as well. And I will also re-sign Kuminga. So, I'm going to sign both of them back. No brainer. And I think we're simply just going to run it back with the same squad. We could also sign Chris Paul back. Wow, that's interesting. Hardy. We actually signed someone really good if we wanted to. So, Steph, Monty Morris, Bojimski, Clay. I mean, I saw Trey Murphy as someone we could sign, which is wild. He's unrestricted. Corey Kispert, Moses Moody could bring back. Give me Trey Murphy. Trigger Trey, I think is what he goes to the Blazers. Man, I would love him on the Blazers, but I would have loved him on my team in this video. Give me Corey Kispert, who can shoot the hell out of the ball, too. They may match this. Yeah, I should have offered more. I'm an idiot. Okay, it'd be funny if I just re-signed Moses Moody back, but he probably feels away since we traded him. Isaiah Joe. Could bring Seth Curry in, but I mean, Gordon Hayward, probably not what I want. I mean, best option is Moses Moody, funny enough. I'm going to sign Ochai Agbaji, though, just because I feel like it doesn't happen very often where a player is traded, then, obviously resigns that team. So, get Agbaji, and now we have Clay going down, which is not surprising, and Agbaji 78. So, one more year of running it back. We brought Levine in last year, got to the conference finals. We're going one more season on this bad boy, and we will live with the results. Hopefully, the results lead to Steph getting one last championship before we hang it up, but proficiency gonna be 4-star here. I will see you guys at the end of whatever year this is. Time for our final season here as we finish up as the 3rd seed in the West this year. 24 from Steph, 22 from Levine, 15 from Kuminga, 12, and then 11 from Podziemski. So kind of stepping up for us. Minnesota round one once again. No longer Chris Paul here. Is he coming off the bench? He is not. So, summary current round against Minnesota. They are going to go up 2-0, but we are going to win 3 straight, and we beat them in 6, and now we run into the Thunder. We forced them to 7 last year. They have Paul George still. Chet. They actually lost Josh Giddey. That could be huge. That really could be huge. The Josh Giddey situation is still ongoing. Still don't know what happened exactly. I did see a report the other day about the idea that this happened years ago, but I'm not really sure if I buy that. We'll see. And it was a one-night thing also is what they said, but I don't know. The videos don't make a lot of sense if it was just a one-night thing. It's all weird. Anyways, somebody current round, and we are going to be down 3-2. So we may fall short of our goal here unless if we can win 2 straight over the Thunder, which obviously is never easy to do, but we get off to a scorching start in game 6. Now we just got to close them out here, and we are going to finish it. So 103-123. Game 7 in Oklahoma City. We need a big win here if we're going to get into the conference finals for a 3rd year in a row. It's not looking like it's going to happen. Just kidding. We're in it. Okay. That's all you can ask for is a chance. 4th quarter is going to be extremely close. Back and forth, as you guys can see. Can we close them out here? We have a lead now. Keep running it. Oh, my goodness. Then losing Giddey was so huge, bro. I think we... Uh-oh. I can't speak too soon. Hold on. No way. Oh, my goodness. We did it. Okay. 126-125. And now we get to play the Denver Nuggets in this final conference finals, potentially. Like our round. And we are going to be up 3-2. We're in the finals. Let's go. Okay. Now we get Detroit. All right. Jaden Ivey and the Pistons. Cade Cunningham, Ivy, Asar, Isaiah Stewart, Duran, Marcus Sasser. We win 1. 3-2. Going to a game 7. Okay. Game 7. All or nothing here. Do we go 8-man rotation here? Put it all on the line? I think we do. 8-man rotation. Play Steph a bunch of minutes. Can we come out here and win this game 7 to get him his final championship before he can ride off in the sunset and win this championship? It's looking good. It's looking good. But it is close. We have an 8-point lead in the 4th quarter. Uh-oh. Oh, my goodness. The Pistons are calling back in it. But we are not going to... Uh-oh. Oh, goodness. This is going to be close. We're going to overtime. Okay. All right. I'm just glad they didn't win. We're forcing overtime. Or they forced overtime, I should say. We have a 4-point lead. I don't know. Maybe we should jump in and watch this. If they tie it, I may. 5-point lead. I think we got it. Maybe. We're not out of the woods just yet. I thought that earlier. And... we are going to win it. Let's go. We got Steph one more championship. He also won Finals MVP. Let's go. I want to see if he retires off that. He decides not to retire. He keeps going. But I'm going to end it on that note. Bam. We got it. Will the Warriors trade for Levine? Probably not. Will they trade for Capella? I wouldn't rule it out necessarily, but I don't know, guys. What do you guys think? Should the Warriors trade Clay and Draymond and split the big 3 up? Or should they ride these guys off to the sunset? Personally, I just can't see a world where they do that. But we'll see what happens. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Regardless, I'll see you on the next one. It's Crushables. I'm saying peace. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you click here to watch another video that I know you'll love.